Making political statements at Hollywood award shows, not unusual for the hosts, but this year you can expect to see a lot of the celebrities on the red carpet also speaking up. Pins that say the words "Time's Up." They're part of the recent initiative to fight sexual harassment and inequality in all workplaces. Reese Witherspoon, who's a co-founder of the Time's Up campaign, asked a costume designer to create the pin for the award show season. Jodi Kantor is an investigative reporter for the New York Times. She's one of the journalists that helped expose Harvey Weinstein. She talked to CBS this morning about how this came to be.
So after we and others reported on these revelations with Harvey Weinstein, but really throughout Hollywood women began organizing informally. They were gathering in each other's living rooms. And what they say is that they felt the competition between them that has always existed melt away somewhat. And they shared these deep personal stories, some of which have not been told publicly. And they found so many common strands. And they decided that together they wanted to use this window to actually change the business that they feel in many ways has kind of betrayed them.
So the red carpet perhaps could even be more interesting than the Golden Globes themselves. The award show is going to be the first major award show since the sexual harassment allegations shook Hollywood late last year. Washington Post pop culture writer Stephanie Mary is with us now to talk about what we can expect both from this year's show and on the red carpet. So Stephanie, thanks for coming on with us. What is it going to look like there on the red carpet? The question and answer, the back and forth.
Well, there's going to be, first of all, a lot of people wearing black because that's part of the statement that they're making. A lot of women said they were going to wear black gowns in honor of the Me Too movement and all of this aftermath of sort of the Harvey Weinstein scandal. The men have said the same thing, although it might not be quite as striking since they usually wear tuxedos anyway. But you're going to see some serious questions on the red carpet. It's going to be interesting to see the red carpet walk up because usually it's all about looking at people's nails, their manicures, their shoes. But this year there are going to be a lot of questions about more serious topics. And
I can't imagine that all the celebrities would be anxious to talk about that and address it.
Right. I mean, some people are going to want to talk about it. Not everyone is going to want to talk about it. I'm sure some people would rather just have the softballs.
Right. And there's also the issue of culpability. All right. So for guys, for the most part, either they have initiated some sort of harassment or they've turned a blind eye to it. Same for maybe some of the women on sets that they've, been victimized by it, or they've turned a blind eye. So I would imagine that there would be a great deal of reluctance for people to talk about it. Also because this is going to be the time where a lot of these celebrities who have been maybe behind closed doors, who haven't addressed this, are going to be out in public for the first time and able to be there to take questions about it.
You see a lot of finger pointing in the aftermath and a lot of questions about who knew what when. I mean, so many powerful people, so many great actors and actresses worked with Harvey Weinstein, and some people who were victimized by him say they must have known. But people like Meryl Streep said she had no idea the extent of what he was up to.
And to what extent does the Me Too movement insert itself into the show? I mean, we know that Seth Meyers is hosting, and he has already openly said, it will be addressed in his monologue and throughout the show. So I'm trying to think, how do you make that comedic and make it work? He's going to have to walk a very fine line.
I think it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with the monologue. He does a lot of political humor, which he does walk a fine line of serious and comedic. So we'll see how he does. You have a lot of people who will be accepting awards too. I mean, Oprah Winfrey is accepting the Lifetime Achievement Award. So I wouldn't be surprised if she talks about that subject as well.
Now, because of that, I would just guess, taking top billing for the discussion that goes on throughout the evening, does President Trump get a pass? I mean, will we still hear a lot of talk about politics?
Seth Meyers actually said there's so many internal politics that are going on within Hollywood that he wasn't planning on doing a lot in terms of national politics. But it's hard to imagine him passing up an opportunity considering how often he talks about politics on his late show.
Right. All right. Now let's talk about what the evening is actually all about. Okay. The awards, the actors, the actresses, the directors, and so forth who are being honored. Can we talk about some of the notable nominations and the notable snubs?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that in terms of the drama movie category, there's so many different categories in the Golden Globes, but that's kind of one of the big categories. I think you're going to see a big showdown between The Shape of Water and The Post. Obviously, I'm gunning for The Post because
Right.
it's about the Washington Post. But the Hollywood Foreign Press Association tends to like sort of more fantastical or romantic movies. So I'm guessing that The Shape of Water will probably be the winner. We'll see.
Stephanie, finally, when they write the headlines and we read them on Monday morning, will the headlines be more about what was discussed on the red carpet and about sexual harassment, or will the headlines be about the awards and the winners and losers?
I think you're going to see a lot about acceptance speeches, what people say during those, what people say on the red carpet, what Oprah Winfrey says during her speech. I think that's going to definitely kind of overshadow whoever won and lost.
Stephanie Merry is the Post pop culture writer with the Washington Post. We look forward to reading your column either late Sunday or first thing Monday morning. Appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me.